school for wives, and I'm like, what are we learning? What is this about? How come we don't have school for husbands? Is it only women that are responsible for making the marriage work all the time?
I needed a turnaround. I needed to know what it means to be married.
Actually, at that point in time, I was having challenge in my marriage. I was at the point of divorcing my husband because I was totally unhappy.
The School for Wives is a place where you come, and it's just an eye-opening experience that you have when it comes to when you come to the School for Wives. So I cannot, unless you attend, you cannot understand everything. We have courses like subjects or topics where we are taught understanding your husband, understanding your person, understanding the place of sex in marriage. Another thing that interested me the most was understanding boundaries in marriage. I didn't know that.
Understanding the games in marriage, called the fairness of marriage, the games in marriage. The topics on its own in School for Wives, and through that I was able to, if I have any challenge, I go through my notes over again. I go through and I have an answer to them.
At some point, I must confess, I was very selfish. I was thinking about my own emotions that is not fulfilling my needs, and what are we talking about? I was basically thinking of myself all the way. But now I've come to realize that I am supposed to actually understand him, know his own issues, try to understand him properly before I move on to understanding so many other things around him. I am supposed to love him. I never knew I was supposed to love him.
School for Wives has been on now for at least 5 years. And we've done 21 editions. The problems we're having, particularly in church, which is very saddening, even as Christians, the divorce rate in the church, it's unbelievable. Crisis out there is unbelievable. Oh, is it that because you're a Christian you won't have crisis, but with the right understanding? In fact, a woman is in that marriage because of crisis, and crisis will validate your call as a wife. So you see, the crisis is not the reason why you should run, but dealing with it. A good soldier does not run for war.
Your humility does not mean that you're stupid. You're just trying to make the whole scenario clear. Like, how do I put it? Calm him down, even when he's mad.
If I had not been to the School for Wives, I would have either been divorced or just been miserable in my marriage or just enduring it. And it would just be because of lack of knowledge, not because my husband is terrible, but just because there's a way to do things. There's a way marriage should work, and that was what I got to know at the School for Wives. So it has really impacted my marriage, but I am happily married. Has it been, do I have my period of pain? Yes, even after the school, but when the issues come up, I know what to do. Divorce is not an option because those issues can be resolved.
It's a school based on understanding, because Proverbs 24 verse 3 says, yes, you build with wisdom, but it takes understanding to establish what you have built. So you find the courses, understanding yourself, understanding your husband, understanding this, understanding that. So it's about understanding, and this understanding is in levels.
We have had women who had been on the verge of divorce. We've had women who have actually divorced their husbands and they were just flatmates. We've had women who their husbands have just been absent. We've had women who have been treated badly by their in-laws. We've had women who have just been discouraged about marriage completely. By the time they finished, they knew what their own shortcomings were. They knew what things they had to put in place. They knew how they had to set the boundaries. They understood themselves. They understood their husbands. They understood the place of sex and what sex is really is and how important it is in marriage.
I've learned from my experience. I have known all my mistakes. I'm moving into another realm completely. I have made up my mind that okay, even when I see it's koro koro, I still behave like it doesn't exist, so that there can be peace and sanity. That's the only way out. Because at the end of the day, you just notice that you're just fighting for nothing.
You must have something that you can say, oh, I'm bringing to the table to make myself suitable for this man. If a man does not have a drive, he needs a wife that has a drive. So that woman will be suitable, not a woman that herself, she cannot even calculate the day gas will finish. And when the man is hungry and she's trying to cook, say, it's like the gas is just finished. So I realized that the understanding, which is having the right perspective about marriage, is the main issue we're having. Many people enter marriage with wrong reasons. So we talk about entry points to marriage, for instance. What marriage is all about. Seeing marriage from God's perspective, because He's the original founder, inventor, designer of marriage.